Hello, my name is Colleen Hughes. I am the Executive Director of the Westmoreland Drug and Alcohol Commission.
And I'm Dr. Mark Fuller, the CEO of Value Behavioral Health. In an effort to combat the alarming drug epidemic in Westmoreland County, we have collaborated with Westmoreland County Behavioral Health and Developmental Services and Southwest Behavioral Health Management to develop an educational video series designed to increase awareness and educate community members.
Hi, I'm Katrin Shaw. I'm an individual in long-term recovery, which for me means abstinence from any mind or mood-altering substance for almost 4 years. I also work as a certified recovery specialist in Westmoreland County. I'm here to talk to you about helping individuals through the recovery process. If you know anybody in recovery or active addiction, you know it takes a lot of patience, love, and perseverance to help them. Supports are necessary. They're necessary for an individual to not only obtain, but to maintain abstinence and long-term recovery. In your community, you'll be able to access 12-step fellowships, Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, and there's also faith-based, which is Celebrate Recovery. They offer a realm of different types of meetings. There's face-to-face, which you would be able to access through na.org, aa.org, and Celebrate Recovery also has a website. You'd be able to find what times and how to access them. There's also phone meetings, online, and Skype meetings for individuals that transportation could be a problem. Some of the things that are also imperative in a 12-step fellowship are going to be a sponsor, a home group, and literature. A sponsor is an individual who's worked the program of recovery already and usually primarily has at least a year or more in recovery themselves. A home group is a place that an individual entering into recovery can feel at home. It's a meeting that they attend every week and they become involved in and take a role of responsibility. Literature would be contingent on the fellowship that they're attending. NA would have a basic text, AA would have a big book, and Celebrate Recovery uses step working guides and the Life Recovery Bible. It's important trying to support an individual through recovery to become educated, to understand some of the things that they're talking about so they don't feel like nobody understands them and they become isolated. There's also fellowships through Nar-Anon, Al-Anon, and Celebrate Recovery also has a codependent group. These are primarily for the people who are involved and have the people suffering with addiction in their lives. They're support groups for you. Also your church. If you have any involvement in a local church, the fellowship there, you could contact them and ask them about any type of assistance or help in dealing with addiction and recovery. Individual counseling is a beneficial thing. This is something that can be ongoing for an individual who goes away to treatment and comes home and does outpatient. They could continue with a therapist for a while, for as long as they would need to. Family counseling is also beneficial. Addiction is a family disease and it affects everybody that's involved. Certified recovery specialists are also something that you could access in your community. I am a certified recovery specialist, and there's also recovery coaches. And what we are is individuals who are also in recovery. You don't have to be in recovery to be a certified recovery specialist, but we help the individuals walk through the process, go over some of the things that aren't covered in treatment, and just help them maintain access to things that are available to them that they may not be aware of. There's also SMART Recovery, which stands for Self-Management and Recovery Training, which is a self-empowering approach to recovery. There should also be local initiatives in your area. You could contact your local Drug and Alcohol Commission. If an individual is trying to tell you that there's no other place for them to go, that's not a fact. In your community, you should be able to find shelters. There should be Oxford houses, which is a recovery house, which is recovering individuals living together and trying to support each other through the recovery process. If they are coming from an inpatient, they should be able to access a halfway or a three-quarter house. It's also important for an individual to change people, places, and things. People are the people that they used with, even if these are family members and friends. They need to try to find new friends and get new individuals in their social circle. Going to the same places, if they're going to the same houses and the same places they were hanging out, odds are they might use. And doing the same things, the same behaviors. It's also encouraged when somebody comes home from an inpatient or incarceration that they should access a meeting their first day home. This is okay to give them transportation to the first meeting or the first couple meetings. But the goal is whenever you're attending these fellowships is that you're going to gain supports and you're going to get phone numbers. And a lot of times there'll be individuals there that are willing to give them rides. If they're not talking to people in the fellowship and they're not getting interaction with them, they're probably not making an effort on that part when they walk into those doors. There's also a suggestion of 90 and 90, which is 90 meetings in 90 days. And if they're getting access to phone numbers and supports, this isn't as overwhelming as it seems. They should also look into getting a new phone number. You can get the phone number changed before they come home. If they have the same phone number, the likelihood of somebody that they used with contacting them is elevated. It's also a suggestion that we look into social media accounts, and if they have one, that they would not access it or they would get a new one. Also, if they have the same phone, the actual physical phone, the contacts in it, they would be able to contact their friends that they used with and their dealers. Let's talk about communication. When we're talking to individuals about touchy subjects, a lot of times it's better to make we and I statements rather than making you statements. You statements kind of make us feel like we're pointing the finger or we're getting the finger pointed at us. We need to try to use compassion and understanding when we're talking to individuals in recovery. A big thing is, if we're trying to talk to them, we might want to know what we're talking about. We might want to be involved and understand the terminology, understand the things that we're trying to ask them if they have. If we say, do you have a sponsor? And they say, yeah, I have a sponsor. And you say, well, what does a sponsor do? You're kind of engaging them in conversation and showing that you have an interest in what they're going through. Also ask them about a home group, how they feel in there, if they found one that they like. Ask them about the literature. I know in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, there's a chapter to the family afterward. It would be a good suggestion for you to read the literature and understand it. We can love our individuals into the grave or out of it. If we're paying their fines and giving them money, putting money in their bank account, paying their car payments, giving them bail money, putting money on their books, making accommodations for them when they go to rehab so it's comfortable, it's not going to take them to their bottom. So letting them stay in your home and use is a hard decision to continue to make. We need to hold them accountable for stealing. When they're stealing from you and you're not pressing charges or you're not giving them consequences, they're going to continue to do it. We need to make realistic boundaries and be able to uphold them. When we make boundaries, it's easy to want to go to very strict and rigid boundaries, which are just unrealistic and we're never going to be able to uphold them. And as soon as we let them cross one, they're going to continue to go. So they have to be realistic, something that we can actually attain. And there's a lot of stigma and stereotypes associated with addiction. We need to separate the addict from the person. We're not fighting the person, we're fighting the disease of addiction. These are beautiful people who are stuck in a horrific disease. We can't allow them to control our lives, and we still need to be able to live our life. Finally, if you or a loved one are dealing with the disease of addiction, know that there's help out there. Please contact SBHS Behavioral Health Case Management Unit or your local healthcare provider. You don't have to do this by yourself. There's people out there who understand what you're going through, know what you're going through, and have been where you're at. So please contact somebody today.